Welcome to Style Masterclass, the podcast that teaches women to look stylish and feel confident so that they can show up ready to conquer and slay no matter what size they are. I'm your host, Miss J. You ready? Welcome back to Style Masterclass Podcast. I'm your host, Miss J. If some of you are catching this live on YouTube, don't forget to hit subscribe, drop me a comment, show me some love so some other people can find the live recording of the podcast. If you are listening on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, would also appreciate a little review love, again, so people can find the podcast. If you don't know me already, I'm your host, Judith Gatan. I am a master certified life coach. I'm a style coach for curvy women, and I am delighted to be here. This week, we are going to start talking about body image. And in fact, we're going to talk about body image over the next few weeks. This is something I'm going to deep dive with my ladies who are in Modern Charm School on. And if you're a current client of mine going through Style Masterclass, don't you worry, loves. You will be getting all of this information too. But I want to bring a little snippet of it. And it's something I've been thinking about for a really long time. I've coached a ton of clients on this subject. And I think it's high time we bring it to Style Masterclass Podcast. So what I want to talk to you about today is the idea of honing in on the 1%, that pixel, that 1% pixel, and losing view of the 99%. This is something that is almost coming naturally these days because we all carry around this little thing in our hand, which also happens to have a camera. And the ability to, with a little bit of spread of your finger, zoom in so that it can help you further fixate on this 1% pixel is not helping any of us. So here's what this looks like and what I'm saying sort of in broad terms. Let me bring it more specific. Oftentimes what I'll have is a client who will take a selfie. And instead of looking at how beautiful she is, suddenly there is a hyper focus, hyper zooming in awareness on a perceived flaw. Look, my chin hair, you can see it. My eyebrow hairs are curly. Look, my eye looks slightly crossed. You can see more of my double chin here. Look at that zit. Oh, there's a hair out of place. And suddenly we lose sight of the 99% of this picture that we're looking at, and we hone in on that 1%. We do this in front of the mirror too. And if you have a history of body dysmorphia disorder, right, this is almost heightened for you and sort of something happens on a regular basis. You go to look in the mirror and instead of seeing the whole lovely woman standing before you, you hone in on that 1% of that image looking back at you and lose perspective of the 99%. How do we stop this cycle, right? How do we stop this cycle? Because I think some of you are like, I do that. Okay, now what? You're on to me, Miss J. We are on to my brain. Now what do I do? And this is a part that I think is so important because a lot of you want to transform your style. You want to transform your wardrobes, have amazing closets full of yummy goodness that you could put on your body and that you love and you set and you forget and you go and you slay and you conquer in the world and it's amazing. But... and the but can be kind of a huge one. It's so hard to expect that you're going to overhaul your wardrobe and have a style makeover of your dreams if you are fixated on a 1% of the pixels occurring in a picture. It is so hard to have the glow up and the glam up of your dreams if you are hyper focused on 1% of what you see reflected back at you in a mirror. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, I'm super meticulous. This is how I roll. I want to see if all the pores in my nostrils are clean. So I'm going to get a 20x mirror and I'm going to refuse to look in the mirror that shows all of me. And I'm going to fixate on whether my pores appear clogged in the super magnified mirror. Who's guilty? Me. I'm the girl too, right? So I say this with all the love in the world. When we hyper focus like that, it's extremely difficult to have bigger picture transformation, bigger picture makeover when we're so incredibly fixated on this thing that's infinitesimal and can't even be seen with the naked eye. And even those things that we can see with the naked eye, when we are so hyper-focused on them, we're losing sight of what matters most, which is the amazing, incredible woman, the whole woman that you are. If you believe in souls, and I do, the squishy center of you, that is immutable, meaning unchangeable, we lose sight of that. That squishy center of you that is worthy and enough, we lose sight of that when we fixate on the 1% of an image. So I really want you to know, why am I telling you this? Because if you're losing sight of that, you're not going to get that confident style makeover that you so desire. It's hard to think big picture, future focused when we're hyper fixated on a 1% of an image in the present. So what I want to offer all of you is this process to sort of get past this, interrupt this pattern of behavior. Maybe you've been doing it for so long that just even me talking about it, suddenly all these things are coming to mind. You're like, oh shit, I do that. So don't fear, my dear. I'm here to help you. So let's talk about practical things. Number one, just really, really practical. Get out of the mirror, boo-boo. Run away. Run away. Seriously. And I say that in jest, but also super serious. Walk away from the mirror. It's actually one of the most important things you can do to help stop this pattern, to interrupt this pattern. I've seen everything I need to see here. I can go now. Staring and fixating on this 1% isn't actually going to change it. Now, your brain might not be fully convinced, right? Your brain thinks that if you fixate on this long enough, it can shame you into taking a different course of action, or shame you somehow into changing and transforming your body almost like overnight, but that's not how it works. Shame never produced the result that we want, at least not long term. For a lot of my clients who's been on those yo-yo crazy diets, right? It never produced the result long term. They're short term. Never a long-term benefit. Here we are about long-term, future-focused, actual inside-out transformation. So number one, walk away from the mirror. Step away. Step away, sister. Seriously. Number two, start to use thoughts, new sentences in your brain to interrupt that pattern. Just like I offered you, right? There's nothing that I can actually change by continuing to stare at this. I've seen all I can see. It's time to walk away. Those little shifts is how we create new neural pathways in your brain. So in conjunction with walking away, we also need to tell ourselves a new story. Brain, I know you think that if I stare at this long enough, somehow it will change, but I do not have magical powers that will actually allow me with my mind to just sort of take that hair off my chin. That's not how it works, right? It will not eliminate this wrinkle by staring at it long enough. This is a futile exercise. I appreciate that you're trying to make sure I am some weird version of perfection, but staring in the mirror and nitpicking at myself is not going to help me achieve that goal. The third thing I want you to do, so we'll walk away from the mirror. We're going to start telling ourselves new things. We're going to have a chat with our brain. And then I want you to think something a little different. And this we're just going to start to play with. I want you to consider the effect that behavior actually has on your day. Really, really think about this. What is the result of this behavior? Is it helpful? Is it useful? Do I want to continue to do this? And chances are, my friend, the answer to that is no. No, and no. If it's not helpful, if it's not useful, and I don't want to continue to do it, I need to remind my brain that this is actually doing nothing for me. And last, what is it that you actually do want? Do you want to glow up and a glam up? Do you want to feel good in the body you have right now? Which I dare say, yes, sign me up for some of that. Then we need to think thoughts and feel things and do things that support that future vision. A great place to sort of ask questions that are more future focused or to ask the Fab 5 questions. And I have a whole podcast episode dedicated to that topic, so you can get those Fab 5 questions. I have a whole podcast episode on future focus. You can go find that, listen to it. But it's time to redirect our brains, to zoom out, if you will, to go from the 1% to the 100%, to go from being so stuck in the minutia of the present to thinking bigger picture, farther out in the future. Now, I'm talking specifically about beauty things that we tend to do, or style things, or body things that we tend to do. But if that line of thinking is showing up there, chances are it's also showing up in other areas of your life. Where else are you getting caught up in the minutia, the 1%, and losing sight of the 99%? So stuck in the present that you're losing sight of the whole picture. It's time to zoom out, my friends. As we go into fall and we transition and we think, what do I want to create this season? What chapter is this going to be for me? What collection do I want to cultivate? Also start to think, where am I so stuck on the 1% that it's time to zoom out? And I think fall season is a perfect opportunity to do that. So, my lovey bugs, that is your Glam Gal mission. Walk away from the mirror, start to introduce new sentences into that brain, have a chat with your brain. Learn to ask yourself, is it helpful? Is it useful? Do I want to continue this behavior? And then zoom out so that we can get future fabulous focused and stop focusing so hardcore on that 1%. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure that you share it with a friend who might need to hear this. If you're on YouTube, copy and paste that link over. Tell a friend, hey, boo, I think you would benefit from this. All right, y'all. Until next time, Miss J out. Thank you for listening to today's episode. To learn more about how to work with me, go to judithgaton.com. Click on the Start Here button to get access to my free personal style class. I give you a quick style win, a confidence boost, and you walk away with the tools to start getting stylish. Who doesn't love that? See you there. Miss J out.